Do you like to be in control? I don't know too many people who would say they don't. Being in control is something that I think many of us really need to feel safe, right? The more in control we are, the safer we feel. So in comes finding out about their affair. Suddenly, the life we thought we had a really good handle on, the control we thought we had in our world, vanishes. I believe it's a big part of why we become so incredibly anxious and have a hard time getting a grip on things after we find out. It's because of that lack of control. So, do you want to know how to get control in a situation that's uncontrollable? Let me see if I can help with that. Stay tuned. You know, there are people in the world who like to be in control, and then there are some of us who, we are all about control. We have schedules, we have plans, and if anything goes awry in those schedules and plans, we are completely thrown off. My son tends to be like that, so I'm familiar with that pattern in life, and I would say I probably had times in my life when I was like this. I was a planner. I've always been kind of a planner. But nobody plans for an affair. That throws a monkey wrench into quite a bit, right? All the things we were planning, all of the dreams we had, all of the things we thought we were true. I mean, everything is changing. And you know how well humans tend to deal with change, right? Not so good. So I've come to realize over these years of affair recovery, I've come to realize that the lack of control was really a big part of the fear I carried for a long time. We all become very fearful. That's why we're anxious. That's why we have triggers. Triggers are based in fear. Our PTSD keeps us in fight or flight. We function in a fear mode for a really long time. And I think part of the reason for that in many ways is because we've lost our sense of control. So as a life coach, I'm a master certified life coach, and working with people outside of affair recovery, one of the things we do work on is how to gain control in situations that are uncontrollable. We cannot control many things outside of our boundaries, but what we can control is within our boundaries, right? Inside of our boundaries lives our thoughts, our feelings, our actions. So when we are thrown for a loop and things feel completely out of control, as in finding out about infidelity, we tend to live in a state of fear because what we thought we had a good handle on is no longer real. It is not there anymore. And then we wonder if there's anything, or actually what I think we tend to do, to be honest, is I think we overfunction and try to control things we can't control. In other words, we try to control our spouse. We try to control how our spouse is healing. We try to control how our spouse is thinking and feeling. We control everything our spouse does. We actually kind of go crazy and over the edge on overfunctioning control because we're so scared. We think if we can just control everything around us, we will be safe. We're looking for safety. That's just at the bottom of all of this, right? It becomes very unhealthy to do that, and I'm sure I probably don't have to tell you why it's unhealthy to try to control other people. We can't control other people. We can set boundaries for ourselves, and absolutely setting boundaries for ourselves, because we do need to feel safe to stay in a marriage with someone who's betrayed us. We have to feel safe. And they do have a role to play in that. And their role is to honor the boundaries we set when we say we want to feel safe. For instance, To feel safe, I need you to have your location services on your phone or a Life 360 or whatever. I would feel safer knowing that that was on. Then they come in and say, I will honor that boundary. I will keep my location services on. I need transparency. I need to be able to see your phone whenever I feel like I need to so that I can feel safe and know you're not hiding anything from me. They come in and say, I will honor that boundary. That is not controlling them. That is setting boundaries. And they have choices whether to honor those boundaries or not. We try to control their healing. We send them videos. We give them books. We tell them they need to go to counseling. We do all this stuff because we are trying to control their healing process. We cannot control their healing process. We can most definitely recommend a counselor, recommend a book, recommend videos. But it's their choice whether they watch those videos, whether they read those books. And if that is a condition of ours, if that's a boundary we set to say, for me to feel safe, I need to see that you're healing. And by healing, I mean you need to be doing those things. If that's what you need, if you need to know they're healing, you need to let them figure out what their healing looks like. Everybody's different, okay? They need to figure that out. So we hyperfunction in control. We do that because we're scared to death. We're scared to death. We don't have control. And so this is our way of trying to gain control. So how then, if we can't control them, how then can we control a situation that's uncontrollable? Right? Here's my recommendation. Try to control what you can control, meaning what lives in that boundary. Try to control what you're thinking about. Try to control how you're growing mentally. How are you reading books? Are you learning more about this? You're watching this video right now, so that counts. What are you doing? What are you doing to help yourself understand the situation better? How are you controlling this? How are you controlling your emotions? How are you controlling how you feel about certain situations? What's your attitude towards your spouse? What's your attitude towards your marriage? What's your attitude towards affair recovery? What's your attitude toward your marriage? What are you bringing to the table emotionally? And how can you lean into that and control that? What are you doing physically? Are you exercising? Are you eating well? Are you making note of those things? Are you trying to sleep? And I get it. I know a lot of that is out of the window for at least the first few months of affair recovery, and I get that. But how intentional are you about trying? What are you doing physically? I'll tell you, one of the best ways if you want to gain control is to create routines. You control your routine. Set a routine. Get up at the same time every morning. Go to bed at the same time every night. Before you go to bed at night, create a specific routine that you follow. If you like to meditate, find a time to meditate, create a routine out of it. Routines give us the feeling of control. If you want to advance in your job, how can you do that? You know, do you need continuing education? Do you need what do you need to do that? If you want to, change a room into something else to help you have more focus, you want to create an exercise room. What will it take to do that? Create and plan out what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, what it's going to take to do it. Then you're going to have a feeling of being in control. Now, that will not stop us, right, from the desire to control the things in our environment that we cannot control. We have zero control over the affair partner. We have zero control over our husbands. We can only control ourselves, okay? So try to be mindful of the energy that you're putting out there trying to control things that are uncontrollable. One final exercise you can do if you feel like, I'm trying these things, it's just not working, take a personal inventory. Get a piece of paper out and write down all of the things you are trying to control right now and how you're trying to do it. And then get a highlighter and highlight each one on that list that lives outside of your boundary. Okay, remember, in your boundary lives everything you think, everything you feel, and everything you do. If anything on that list lives outside of your boundary and you're trying to control it, highlight it. And take an inventory. And then once you realize and you can acknowledge, oh my goodness, half of this list I've highlighted, take steps to pull that energy back into your boundary. The more you actually can control about you, the more in control you feel. And hence, the safer you will feel. Okay? That fear will tamper down the more in control you feel. So, control is about you. It's not about other people, and it's not about external circumstance that's out of your control. It's about you. Okay? That's how you can feel in control in a situation that feels out of control. I hope this has been helpful. I do this with my clients all the time. We have to work on this, especially my clients who tend to be A-types, A-type personalities. They struggle with this because everything in them wants to overfunction and control things outside of them. So if you're looking for a coach to help you as well in that department, I would love to be that coach. I'm a master certified life coach, and I am able to help you with all kinds of things. But I specialize in helping women like us, I've been in your shoes, women like us who are going through a fair recovery. Gosh, fair recovery is a really, really long process. It's not something that a few counseling sessions is going to make all better. It is lengthy and it is hard, but you can do it, especially if you have someone walking that journey alongside you. If you're looking for a coach and you would like to hear more about how I can help you, I invite you to schedule a free consultation. Right below this video is a link to schedule it. It's for 1 hour. I spend a lot of time in that 1 hour just helping you with whatever it is you're struggling with. Right now, this second, I want to be there to walk you through it so you kind of get a free coaching session. And I'll also spend some quality time talking to you about coaching and what it looks like. And I'll share all of my package information with you at that time as well. Also, underneath this video, you will find a link to a free guide. You're welcome to sign up and get that. There's also a free video as well as a link to join my Facebook group, which is a wonderful tribe of women just like us, who are going through a fair recovery. So I hope that you will go and try that exercise, make that list, see how many things on that list you highlight, and start putting your energy back into you, because I promise you that is going to mean so much more than throwing your energy out in the world on things you cannot control.